I welcome you all, my dear students. Now in this class, we are going to see the another one optical instrument, compound microscope. The last class, already I explained the construction and working part of the simple microscope, and also we did the formula for magnification in the simple microscope. Now the another one optical instrument is compound microscope. So in simple microscope we have the single convex lens, but in compound microscope we have the two convex lenses. Which lens is closer to the object? Now we can say AB is the object. So this convex lens is closer to the object. So this is called as objective lens or objective. And which lens is closer to the human eye? So wherever you are going to look, at which place you are going to observe the image of the object. So which lens is closer to you or your eyes? That is called as eyepiece. So we are going to use the two convex lenses to produce an enlarged image. You know very well the single convex lens, it produces a real inverted magnified image. So you consider the object AB. Initially the object AB, it is placed at the principal focus or in between F and P. So this distance is a very less. You know that the distance, object distance is taken as U. So this objective lens, it produces a real inverted magnified image. Here that image is A dash B dash. Real inverted magnified image. So compared with the height of the object, the height of the image is slightly greater. So H dash is greater than H. Now this image formed by the objective lens, it became or it acts as the object for the eyepiece, object for the second convex lens. So this A dash B dash is the object for this eyepiece. So this eyepiece, this convex lens, it produces a magnified image, enlarged image. That image is A W dash B W dash. Here the A dash B dash is a real inverted image. This eyepiece, it produces a virtual image, virtual corrected image, that is A W dash B W dash. So finally, we get the inverted image of the object AB. So we compare these two, we get the inverted image. This one is produced a real inverted magnified image. This produces a virtual corrected image. Now we are going to compare the final image formed by the compound microscope and the object. So we get the inverted image of the given object. So this is the construction and working part of the compound microscope. Now we are going to derive the equation for magnification. Already I noted that angle beta here, the H dash is a length, height, H is the height of the object, and H double dash is the final height of the image. Now the magnification M naught is nothing but H dash divided by H. M naught is the magnification produced by the objective, produced by the object lens, which lens is closer to the object, so objective. So this is the magnification produced by the lens O. And now I am going to write the equation with the help of the angle beta. So you consider this triangle and you can consider this triangle. The relation tan beta, if you first consider this triangle, tan beta is nothing but H dash. This distance is taken as L. So H dash divided by L. It is also equal to, here also we have the same angle beta. because if the two lines are cutted like this, cross, this angle is equal to this angle. So this beta in the particular triangle, so we can write this height is nothing but h. So h divided by this length is nothing but f naught. This length is f naught. F naught is the focal length of the objective lens, and Fe is the focal length of the eyepiece. So compare these two lenses. The eyepiece will have larger aperture compared to the objective lens. Okay, so Fe is greater than F naught in this diagram. So we get the tan beta value h dash by L and h by F naught. Now we are going to compare these two equations. This becomes h dash by h is nothing but L divided by F naught. So M naught is nothing but h dash by h. So we can write this L by F naught is nothing but M naught. So we got the equation for magnification for the objective lens. And final magnification produced by the compound microscope, M is nothing but M naught ME. ME is the magnification produced by the eyepiece. M naught is the magnification produced by the objective lens. So M naught value, known value. So we need the ME value alone. So here the final image it will be formed at infinite distance or the near point. It produces at the infinite distance or the near point. So depending upon the position of the image forming point, we can write the formula for the magnification produced by the eye lens or eyepiece. ME is equal to, and we have the two different formula with respect to the image formation in the particular place. If the image is formed at the infinite distance, we can write the formula as d divided by Fe. This is related to if the image formed at infinite distance. If the image formed at the near point, ME is equal to 1 plus d by Fe. It is a near point. Image is formed at the near point. So we can use this two value for ME in this equation. M is equal to M naught ME. First of all, I am going to apply this first ME value to find out the magnification of the compound microscope. So the formula M is equal to L divided by F naught and D divided by Fe. This is related to the image formed at the infinite distance. If the image formed at the near point, the formula for the magnification of the compound microscope M is equal to, here same, L divided by F naught and 1 plus D divided by Fe. Okay, so this is a magnification formula for compound microscope. So in this compound microscope, we are using the two convex lenses. One is closer to the object, it is called as objective, and another one is closer to the eye, so it is called as eyepiece. The object lens, objective, it produces the real inverted magnified image, and the eyepiece, it produces the erected image here, A double dash and B double dash, virtual erected image. So this concept is related to the compound microscope. And next we are going to see the astronomical telescope. Telescope is mostly we are using the two different types of telescope. One is astronomical telescope and another one is a terrestrial telescope. Astronomical telescope, it is one of the optical instrument. It is used to see the object in a very longer distance. That means the object is any one of the places in the astronomy. In atmosphere, we can see the object like any one of the Jupiter, Sun, Moon, stars, so forth. See any one of these objects like star and Jupiter. We are using the astronomical telescope. And terrestrial telescope, it is also used to see the objects in a longer distance on the Earth's surface. Astronomical telescope used to see the object is in a longer distance in the atmosphere, but the terrestrial telescope, it is also used to see the object in a longer distance but on the Earth's surface. Now we are going to see the working of the astronomical telescope. And in this case also, in astronomical telescope also, we get the two convex lenses. One is objective and another one is the eyepiece. Which lens is closer to the object is called as the objective, and which is closer to our eye, it is called as the eyepiece. Here, the light rays from the object is from a longer distance, so we consider only the two light rays. When the light rays is incident on the objective, this is objective and this one is the eyepiece. So here in this case, in astronomical telescope, the objective lens, it has a larger aperture compared with the eyepiece, and also that objective, it has a longer focal length and longer aperture compared with the eyepiece. In this case also, finally it produces an inverted image. In the astronomical telescope. So this is also produce the real inverted magnified image, and this separately this eyepiece is also produces a real and inverted image. Finally we got the inverted image in astronomical telescope. Here the f0 is the focal length of the objective and fe is the focal length of the eyepiece. Now here I noted that angle, this is alpha, this one is beta. Angle subtended by the object is alpha, angle subtended by the image is beta. And we know the formula for magnification. Magnification is nothing but it is the ratio between the angle subtended by the image to the angle subtended by the object. So we can write the formula for magnification in this case. M is equal to beta divided by alpha. M is equal to beta divided by alpha. So use this triangle, we can easily calculate the value of beta. So this length is nothing but Fe, and this height is nothing but the height of the image. Okay, object height, here we have not mentioned the object height. So here this one is the height of the image. We can write the formula for magnification. M is equal to beta divided by alpha. So if you take this value is height of the image, using this triangle, we can write the formula for beta. Tan beta is equal to h divided by Fe. Tan beta is equal to h divided by Fe. Like the same way, if you calculate the tan alpha value for this triangle, this length is f0, so h divided by f0. If the theta value is very minimum, tan theta it can be written as beta, and tan alpha it can be written as alpha. So now we know the value of alpha and beta. We will substitute that beta and alpha into the formula of magnification. M is equal to beta values h by Fe divided by h by f0. So the final equation for magnification of the astronomical telescope is f0 divided by Fe. Here f0 is nothing but the focal length of the objective, and Fe is nothing but the focal length of the eyepiece. And the length of the length of the telescope, it approximately equal to the sum of focal length of the objective and focal length of the eyepiece. So we can write the formula L is equal to length of the telescope is equal to f0 plus Fe. You note this formula, maybe sometimes asking in one mark numerical question. L is equal to f0 plus Fe. So this entire concept is related to astronomical telescope. Next we are going to see the terrestrial telescope. Next topic is terrestrial telescope. Students, next optical instrument, terrestrial telescope, and finally we have another one optical instrument is a reflecting telescope. Terrestrial telescope, in this case we are going to use three types of the convex lenses, because finally we get the erected image. So additionally, if you are using one more lens in between the objective and eyepiece, it once again that we call this lens is called as a erecting lens. Okay, if you are using these two lenses, finally it produces a erected image. So we want to erected once again the image. So for that purpose we are using that another one lens. It is placed in between that objective and the eyepiece. So this one is called as a erecting lens. So all the remaining concept is same for the telescope. And next one, a reflecting telescope. In modern telescope, mostly we are using the reflecting telescope, because in this telescope we have the objective is act as a mirror is act as a objective. For all these cases we are using the objective lens is a convex lens, but in this case we are using the objective is nothing but it is a mirror, reflecting mirror. So then only we call it by the name of reflecting telescope. Why we use that objective mirror? Because if we form the image, we need a larger size of the lens, so the expensive is very cost. So we need any alternative method. So for that purpose we are using objective mirror, reflecting mirror. And also we have the two positive side in the reflecting telescope compared with the normal telescope. One is cost and another one is a maintenance. Here in this case we applied one side a reflecting coating, so maintenance is very easy. If we are using the lens, the two surfaces is a transparent material, so each and every second we ensure that no dust particle is deposited on the lens. But here one side is a reflecting surface, so the maintenance is very easy. This is it. And next one, another one positive side in the reflecting telescope is used to compare with the weight. One is expensive and another one is a maintenance and third one is weight. Compared with the lens, the mirror weight is very less. Okay, so this is a positive side. And only one negative side. Here, without using this one, this is the axial reflecting telescope. If you are using the reflecting mirror as an objective, it will be form the image inside of the instrument. So if you want to view the image formation by using the reflecting telescope, we fit the eyepiece inside of the telescope. It is just complicated because if the eyepiece is outside from the material, that means it is very easy to view the image formed by the reflecting telescope for our normal eye. If you fix the eyepiece inside of the telescope, it is just difficult to view the image formed by the reflecting telescope. But if you are using the objective mirror alone, the image will be formed inside of the telescope. So definitely you should fix the eyepiece inside of the instrument. So for that purpose only, we are using another one reflecting mirror secondary mirror. The secondary mirror is a convex mirror. The objective mirror is a concave mirror. So if you are using the secondary mirror, the convex mirror, the image is formed here, so we can fix the eyepiece in the outside of that particular tube. Okay, right. So this is with respect to reflecting telescope. And next we are going to see the another one optical instrument. It's nothing but spectrometer. Already in this lesson, the beginning, how we can measure the wavelength of the light, separate colors by using spectrometer. The concept already I explained it. So slightly we touch the topic spectrometer. Now I am going to explain the parts in the spectrometer and how we can make an initial adjustment, preliminary adjustment in the spectrometer, and what is the formula and what is the method to find the angle of the prism and the minimum deviation by using this A and D. You know that the angle of the prism is A and minimum deviation is D. By using the A and D, how we can easily calculate the refractive index of the given prism. Mu is the refractive index of the given prism. So what is the method? What is the way to calculate or determine the A, D value and mu with the help of the spectrometer? First of all, I am going to explain the instruments, the parts involved in the particular instrument, and how we can set the preliminary adjustment in the spectrometer. Students, in spectrometer we have three main parts. One is collimator, and another one is prism table, and third one is a telescope. So these three is a main part in the spectrometer. Collimator is it has a lengthy pipe, and inside of the pipe we fitted one lens to convert that beam in a parallel rays. And prism table, it is used to mount on a prism. It is a place to place a prism or grating. And telescope, it has the two lenses, one is objective and another one is a eyepiece. To see the clear object. So these are the main device. Let's see the apparatus, and I explain the preliminary adjustment what should be done before you are going to determine the refractive index of the given prism. Let's see the apparatus first. Students, see this one. This is the spectrometer apparatus. Here we have the three main parts. Already I told that. And this is called collimator, and this is a prism table, and this one is a telescope. So in the collimator, the front side, this side only we are going to fix closer to the light source. So in this side we have the slit, a small narrow open window. See this one. If you adjust the screw, we can vary the width of the slit. In this direction only we are going to send the light rays. So we can adjust the width of the slit entering into the collimator. So this collimator, it is used to adjust the width of the slit, and also the light rays from the light source, it is traveling in all the direction in diverged form. So we want to convert all the rays into a parallel beam. So all the parallel beams, after converting it, the parallel beams are passing through the collimator, and this is the prism table. In prism table we have the two disc. Here we have the two disc. Screws are act as a leveling screws, and also we have the another one disc below the prism table. Here in both the sides we have the values, the readings. It goes from 0 to 360 degree, and also we have the vernier scale also here, and this is the telescope. The collimator, it is fixed with the help of the one diaphragm in that apparatus in the base, and this telescope, it can be slide over through left and right. Whenever you are changing this telescope, the reading in this place, it is also changed. Now initially we convert the illuminator light source into the parallel beam with the help of the collimator, and if you want clear image, we can adjust the screws. Clear image, we can adjust the screw in the collimator, and you fix the telescope in the same axis of the collimator, and the parallel beams are entered into the prism. We know that the prism, it have the refracting surface and it have the reflecting surfaces also. So when the parallel beam is incident on the refractor surface of the prism, now I fix the prism here. So in this prism we have this polished surface. This one is polished surface, and this is a rough surface, reflecting surface. So if you fix the prism on the prism table like this, the parallel beams are entered into the refracting surface, that means transparent surface. So in this transparent surface, the light rays transmitted through this side and this side, and it is catched by the telescope. In this telescope, we fixed the two lenses, one is here, another one is here. This is the eyepiece, because we are going to view the object from this place. And in the eyepiece, we have the cross symbol to focus a clear image of the object. So if you adjust that screw in the telescope, we can get the clear image of the object. So this is the adjusting screw to focus the clear image. So this is the apparatus and main parts, and this is the method to set the preliminary adjustment before to using the instrument to measure the refractive index or wavelength of the light. So to adjust the width, we can use this screw. To get the clear image, we can use this screw, and in the telescope also we can adjust. And this is the prism table. We are going to see the image of the object in the side of the eyepiece. In eyepiece, we have the cross symbol, and in the base we have the sum of the screw like this one and this side. These screws are used to level the spectrometer horizontally on the table, and also we can use the spirit level. Using this spirit level, if the spectrometer is slanting on any one of the side, we can adjust this screw and we can level it easily. So this is the arrangement of the spectrometer. Now I am going to explain how we are going to take the reading and how we can measure the angle of the prism and minimum deviation by using this instrument. So initially we set that prism like this. Now here we are going to fix the lamp monochromatic source. So the light rays are emitted from the source in all the direction. So here the collimator used to convert the light rays into the parallel beams. So now we fix the apparatus very closer to the light source. So the parallel beams is entered here. Now the prism is fitted to measure the angle of the prism like this. Here we have two polished surface here and there, and I fixed that reflecting surface here. So this surface is a reflecting surface. So the light rays is entered here, it is reflected, and we can catch the image in this place. And also if the light ray is incident on the other side, it is reflected and we can catch the image in this place. So in the two position we get the clear image, and also you note down the readings and the table. So here one reading, and in this place we got one reading. See the direct image. So inside of the eyepiece, one rose color line is there. Because it is illuminated in yellow color, it will take some time. So this is the direct reading. Now I fix the prism on the prism table. If you rotate the telescope left or right side, any one of the side, first you note the reading. See the yellow color light in the eyepiece. So this is the image catched by the telescope on one side. And like the same, we can rotate the telescope on the other side. This side also, in one position we get the image. So here one image, we note the reading, and here we get the another one image, note on the reading. Here the angle between the two position of the telescope here and there. This angle is nothing but 2A. A is the angle of the prism. Using this 2A, difference between this reading and this side reading, it will give the value of 2A. So using this 2A, we can easily calculate the A. And next one, to find out the minimum deviation, you fix the prism like this. So the rough surface, it's parallel to the collimator. Slightly we can change it like this. So now we get the direct reading like this. This is the direct reading. If you catch the image, that means the slit, the light ray, if it is focused at the cross marking point, this is the direct reading. And now you see the image in this side, the left hand side, through the telescope. Now you are going to rotate the prism table alone. Parallelly, you see the image in the eyepiece and you rotate the prism table. If you rotate the prism table as well as to see the image on the telescope, and the angle of deviation is decreased when you rotate the prism table. A stage comes when the image stops and return on further rotation of the prism. They are given the line in your textbook. That means you see the image through the telescope. Now you rotate the prism like this. The image, what you see in the telescope, it is also rotated in the opposite side of your rotation. If the image is moving towards the right hand side at a particular point, the image it stop and return back to the same side. It's changed the path. So you rotate the prism table until the image goes to the any one of the corner point. It is a turning point. It stops and return in a particular point. So you stop your rotation when the image it gets ready to return in any one of the position. So this is the actual position to measure the value of angle of deviation. So here initially you note the image, you see the image through the telescope and you rotate the prism table until when the light rays, that means image is returned to any one of the particular place. Now you focus the image in the cross line and you note the reading. And also you take the direct reading to after removing the prism. This is the direct reading. And if suppose you got the angle of deviation in this place, and this is the direct reading, this deviation, this difference between these two level is called as angle of deviation. So students, I explained how to determine the angle of prism and the minimum deviation A and D. So light ray in the collimator, here we fix the prism and you catch the image left hand side and also you catch the image in the right hand side. This is the deviation, this angle, it gives the difference between the two reading and the two position is 2A. So if you divided the two value, you can easily calculate the A also. And if you fix the prism like this is the rough surface, and we can calculate the minimum deviation position. If initially the telescope is in this position, you rotate that table in clockwise direction. The image in the telescope, it is moving, that means it is rotated anti-clockwise direction. If you rotate in clockwise direction, the image is rotated in anti-clockwise direction and it reaches a particular level, it stops and returns to the same side. The rotation, it gets revert in a particular position. When that image is reached that particular position, that static position, you start to rotate the prism table. And now you focus the image on the telescope in the cross line. In the telescope, we have the eyepiece. In the eyepiece, we have the cross symbol. Before note the reading, you ensure that the image, that means the light ray, is coincident with the cross line. Coincidence with the cross line. After that, you can note the reading. So next, you remove the prism. You can take the direct reading. The image of the object is catched directly. This is the direct reading. And the difference between these two values, it gives the angle of deviation. And the formula to find out the refractive index of the given class prism, mu is equal to sin A plus D by 2 divided by sin A by 2. The refractive index of the given prism is equal to sin A plus D by 2 divided by sin A by 2. So normally in our laboratory we are using the prism, it has a refractive index value approximately 1.5, sometimes 1.532 or 1.52. Approximately that value is 1.5, and the unit of the refractive index, it does not have any unit, so no unit. So students, in this class we discussed some of the optical instrument construction and working part, and also I explained the preliminary adjustment and the working and how to determine the refractive index of the given prism also. So I think in the next class we are going to see the last part of this lesson. So I am going to complete the 7th chapter in the next class, all the numerical problems, example problems and the theory part. We will meet in the next class. Thank you students. Thank you.